So here we are with Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 7 here on one side, considered by some to be the reigning champ of folding phones, versus Google's upcoming Pixel 10 Pro Fold on the other side. A phone that I would call a scrappy contender that promises AI wizardry, bigger battery, and maybe, just maybe, the knockout punch that Samsung is not seeing coming. Now, after weeks with the Galaxy Z Fold 7 here and years of using Google's Foldables, I've got opinions. And if you are stuck between Samsung's super sexy, thin, and revolutionary hardware versus Google's brains or AI witchcraft, well, let's talk about all of it. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, then you probably know that I've been a foldable evangelist for a number of years. And that's because I find the technology fascinating, right? Always pushing, the frontier of technology. And right now, it's peak folding phone rivalry, and manufacturers are just fighting for that throne. Now, in this specific case, in the case of Samsung and Google here, what we have are two philosophies. If you've been waiting for foldables to stop feeling like bricks, in your pocket, well, the Z Fold 7 is your reward. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is a challenger that favors AI brains and something very fundamental too, battery life. That being said, Samsung absolutely nailed it with this design here. 6.5-inch cover display with a friendlier 21:9 aspect ratio. Very usable, by the way, very usable, comfortable, and dare I say, normal, right? It truly feels like a regular phone when closed. Not a brick, not a remote control, just a phone. Just a regular phone. In fact, it's thinner and lighter than some regular phones. The hinge is sleeker, more discreet, and still robust. But if you are expecting out of the Z Fold 7 here, pixel level durability, blow your horses there, not so fast, right? Because the Galaxy Z Fold 7 IP48 rating might be fine for a splash, but for dust, I don't know about that. Now, Google, on the other hand, looked at last year's Pixel 9 Pro Fold and decided, you know what? Let's go ahead and bulk this guy up. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold comes in heavier at 9.1 ounces versus Samsung's lighter 7.5 ounces, but you do get something in return, an IP68 rating. Translation, it is more resistant to dust and water. And Google claims that its new gearless high-strength hinge is good for 10 years of folding. 10 years. I don't know how to calculate that. I don't know what to say about that. But anyways, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is also thicker, right? With that same look on the hinge we saw on the 9 Pro Fold. And that's just that. Now, let's talk main events here, right? The displays. The Z Fold 7 gives you an 8-inch foldable dynamic LTPO AMOLED display on the inside with HDR10 Plus support, buttery smooth refresh rate, of course, at up to 120 Hz, and 2600 nits in terms of peak brightness, making this phone here very usable in direct sunlight. I know I've been enjoying it under direct sunlight without any issues. Now, guess what though? The 10 Pro Fold, on the other hand, is brighter. Its dual displays peak at a blistering 3000 nits. Again, peak brightness, right? Just making it a content consumption monster. The cover display stands at 6.4-inch, pretty close to what we have with the Z Fold 7 here. And the inner display also pushes an 8 inches. Keep in mind, of course, that you have different aspect ratios here between both phones. In a nutshell though, they both are fantastic devices for media consumption. Now let's go ahead and talk performance here, and this is where the Galaxy Z Fold pulled away in many different aspects. First off, it's boasting the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, which is of course the most powerful mobile device chip on the market right now. It's an absolute monster. This thing just absolutely flies. Second, it's paired with that 12 gigs of RAM or 16 gigs of RAM if you feel like being fancy and upgrading to the next config. In either case, it chews through everything. Gaming, video editing, multitasking, no lag, no stutter, no No apologies. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold, on the other hand here, debuts the Tensor G5 chip. It's built on a 3nm process with improved CPU and TPU performance for AI-driven tasks. This AI stuff here is where the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is going to run circles around the Z Fold 7, but that's going to be about it, about the only aspect of performance that it leads when compared to the Z Fold 7. Because every other aspect of, whether they be specs or performance itself, the Z Fold 7 just dominates. Multitasking, for example. The Z Fold 7 will let you run 3 apps side by side, and even have something else that you can add as a floating window on top of that, right? Or multiple floating windows versus Google's, 2 windows side by side, and then maybe a floating window here and there. But the 10 Pro Fold does fire back with tabletop mode, turning it into a mini laptop when you want controls below and content up top. But then again, that's really nothing compared to, the Z Fold 7 support for Samsung DeX. To keep it simple, if, raw horsepower matters to you, then no questions there. Z Fold 7. If AI is your game, then 10 Pro Fold. Now let's go ahead and talk cameras. The Z Fold 7 finally joined the high megapixel party with a 200 megapixel main sensor. That's a huge leap for, the Fold series. Ultra-wide and telephoto stay at 12 megapixel and 10 megapixel respectively. And while the telephoto tops out at 3x optical zoom, image quality is gorgeous. It's really good. It's vibrant, sharp, with plenty of details. Google, on the other hand, is still Google. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold here sticks to its 48 megapixel main sensor, 10.5 megapixel ultra-wide, and 10.8 megapixel telephoto. But thanks to Google's computational photography and 5x optical zoom, it can still go toe-to-toe with Samsung's monster sensor. Either way, I can't wait to put them side by side and really test them. Now let's go ahead and talk battery and charging. Samsung stuck with the same 4400 mAh battery, the one we got on the Fold 6, and while the Snapdragon's efficiency helps, you still want a charger before bed. And oh, yes, it's still capped at 25 watt wired and 15 watt wireless. Google, on the other hand, stuffed into the 10 Pro Fold a 5015 mAh battery, along with 45 watt in terms of charging speed. And let me add that is if you buy the brick, separately, of course. And for the first time, you also get Qi 2 wireless charging, along with Pixel Snap accessories, giving you MagSafe-like convenience that Samsung cannot quite match, right? No, at least not without a case. As far as battery life goes, I will let you know once I get the 10 Pro Fold in hands. But I suspect it's going to be better battery. It's going to offer better battery than the Z Fold 7 here. But anyways, with all of this said, who wins? Or should I say, which one wins? Well, if you want the sexiest, the thinnest foldable with the smoothest multitasking and best-in-class performance, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 still wears the crown. It's just that simple. Now, if you want longer battery life, AI superpowers, dust resistance, and a $200 cheaper price tag, then maybe the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is the way to go for you. That's just my take for now. What do you think of this battle? Let me know, your thoughts in the comments section there, where I'm going to catch you. Make sure to like the video if you haven't done so already. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so. Very important. Make sure to share if you know anyone who would be interested. I'm going to catch you in the comment section like I always do. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.